This is how I feel, guys. I feel like this. You know why? Halloween weekend coming up. I got young kids. I'm living the dream of Halloween, right? That almost rhymes. Hey guys, welcome. Matt Fairclough here, coming at you guys. Just felt like being a little silly to begin there, but this is my chats with Matt. You guys could come and chat with Matt by clicking on this link right here. Click here to join me live. There you go. Here's your link. Join me live right now, guys. Click the link. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday, happy Halloween, happy all that fun stuff. But come on here and join me live. We'll talk some real estate shop. I'll do some giveaways. You guys want a signed copy of my book? If I get my hand underneath it. Raising Private Capital. I'll get you guys a signed copy of that. Get you guys some other DEROSA fun swag if you guys want it. And that. So fun stuff to talk about the market. You know, market's still really weird and you know, not sure. Nobody seems to be sure what tomorrow is going to bring. So we're still working on that ourselves. If you guys want to talk about the market, you guys want to talk about deals you guys are in the middle of. Had an awesome Bigger Pockets boot camp session last night. We're going to be doing some exciting stuff. If somebody wants to come on live, we'll talk to you about that. I'll just tell you guys now. We're thinking about doing some site tours. If you guys want to go and get boots on the ground with us and with my team on a DEROSA asset, we are going to start working on site tours very soon for folks to do a paid tour of one of our existing assets with me and my DEROSA team, the dream team, me, Justin Hervé, and the rest of the peeps. If you guys want to do that, let me hear from you too. So lots of ideas there. If you guys want to talk about that, let me know. If you guys want to just type in a real estate question too in the Q&A box, I'll answer that also. Whatever y'all want to do, right? What else? I can tell you guys how I just got back from Disney with my family. That was an experience. Crazy stories there. I can gladly tell you guys how Disney went. I only lost my cool like once, I think, in Disney. So happy to tell you that story as well. If you guys want free stuff and you can't get on the call with me, there is a website you guys can go to, which is derosagroup.com/swag. And it's just do us a quick favor of reviewing us on a few of our different channels. Just do one of those things, and you get some free stuff too. For free stuff. There you go. But most importantly, guys, I want to talk to the people. I want to talk some shop. You guys even want to just drop in and say hello, click the link, and I'll do a quick live chat with you, answer some real estate questions, or just talk about life, chat about whatever you guys want. So this is what Chats with Matt's all about. Let's see. What else can I tell you guys? We keep swinging and missing on deals. You know, I mean, just it doesn't seem like we can quite get to where these sellers are asking, but I do believe some of these deals you've looked at are going to come back around, if you know what I'm saying. They may not close. You know, the tea leaves that I've heard say that Fed's are going to raise the rate again, what interest rates are going to be. So let's see where that goes. We're even looking at DEROSA. We're looking at alternative assets. Be happy to talk to you guys about that too. If you guys want to hear, just let me know. But we're looking at other stuff aside from multifamily housing. Believe it or not, yes. Not just apartment buildings. They're not the only things you can invest in. We're also looking at some other stuff that I'd be happy to talk to you guys about. Pretty excited about it, actually. I had a call with somebody this morning about an opportunity that I think would be really, really cool. That's not multifamily, believe it or not. Not apartment buildings. Still housing, still means to transform lives to real estate, but something that's a little different than what we're typically looking at, just because we want to diversify here at DEROSA. So, had a quick question come in. Let me just log into Facebook to see who that was. What kind of returns do you target? Like cash on cash returns? Good question. What kind of returns do you target? Like cash on cash returns, IRR, the deal currently where there is a major renovation needed. Not sure how to price given the execution risk. Interesting question. And I hate to be like, oh, it depends. You know, that's my friend Claudia. What's up, Claudia? So the way I look at it is you got to bake in a bit of risk. I mean, how do you price risk? I mean, that's really your decision. How we price it may be different, Claudia, than the price point you want to put on risk, meaning like what's risk worth. But you certainly want to put some time risk in there because you're buying a property today, and you are, Andre, co-working space in Miami. I know you were asking me about consultation. If you want to get some free consultation, click the link. I'll come on right here and do a quick one-on-one with you, give you like 5 minutes of my thoughts, and we'll see if it's worth you and I talking about me consulting with you further in your deal. So please do that because you need to reach out to me already. But to Claudia's question, you've got to bake in the time risk factor because you're buying a property that has some value add, has some improvements you want to make, right? And you want to do these things further out. Nibiku's here. Oh, Nibiku's gone. Okay. You're buying a property here. You're going to do some value add to make the property worth more. And that's good. So this may be of significant value to you in the work that you're going to do, but you also have to price in the risk factor that you're taking. I think that the way I would do it, Claudia, is I would bake in worst case scenario and price the property accordingly based on the worst things that could happen. And then you do your best as an operator to try and avoid those things from happening. Well, what happens if vacancies go up? What happens if the property doesn't appreciate? What happens if my hold cycle goes longer than I think? What happens if rates go up? Whatever. Bake in some sensitivity analysis factors into that deal, Claudia, that make you look at it from the reasonable. You can't like sink the deal, but you can make it from a point where like, okay, well, if these things happen, which could make it worse, I could be in a situation where the deal might not cash flow for a little bit longer or whatever. So adjust your price based on the worst case scenario. Okay. Hey, Andre, I'll pop you in. Okay. What's up, Andre? How are you? Andre,
what's up?
I'll pop you in. You got to mute me on your somewhere. I can hear myself.
Is it better now?
There we go. It's better now.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, good. Thanks for popping in. I know you weren't expecting me to jump in on this thing, but I can barely see you. That's okay. You got a big light coming from behind you. You're like just a big shadow, but it's okay if you can't change that up. But I'm happy to talk some shop with you. So what you had reached out to me regarding a potential co-working opportunity you had. Maybe doing me helping you do some consulting arrangements, which for everybody, I don't always offer those kinds of things up. I do have other things I got a company I got to run, but I am open to doing some consulting for folks. I've done paid consulting before, depending on the deal. So tell me what you got. This is free consulting, free advice from Matt here. So tell me what you need, what you got, and I'll see if I can give you at least some guidance on where I think you ought to go with this co-working opportunity you got in Miami.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much, like I'm in between Philadelphia and Miami, and all my real estate holdings, like I've got 50 different houses in Philadelphia that I'm renting out. But I think to me, I just want to kind of, you've been talking about alternative investments, right? And
yes.
To me, it's also like real estate, but also the lifestyle. And I think I've always wanted to go to Miami, but Miami was also expensive from the apartment side. So I was thinking co-working space, because we have some educational business there as well. And I think co-working spaces all over Miami. It's I've never done this the commercial deals before. I've been watching your apartment buildings, but even now you're saying let's try something more alternative, and that's I think that's what I'm trying to accomplish in Miami. So we're looking about $5 million purchase, but again, it's a purchase and build, because we have construction company in Florida and in Philadelphia. So we would like to not only make money on the real estate syndication, we would like to build the actual place and also get construction management on top of that. So the whole space is probably going to be around $5 million. And I just want to see your idea on anything related to co-working space, because it's just so different what I used to do in Philadelphia with single triplet. And to me, it's just your opinion is what matters. Maybe you have like specific questions.
No. So I own a co-working building in Trenton, and I'm familiar. I think that, so broad feedback. And then for everybody listening, I think co-working in general is something that's going to rise a lot. You're going to see more and more of it, either from small startups like small businesses like mine and yours, right? I have rented short-term co-working space, and I certainly will in the future because I don't want to buy the whole case of soda. I want to use a little bit of it, and so I want to use as I go. So I think co-working is going to become more and more popular. I think even big companies, like big companies you and I can both think of, may use co-working as well for outpost offices for their employees, or for employees that work from home that need an office sometimes. So I think co-working is going to become more and more of a thing. I think we're going to see more and more office space get converted to co-working space, which is good and bad, because I think that eventually co-working is going to see a lot more competition come into the world once those that own offices figure out that their tenants don't need 20, 30,000 square foot anymore, and that office spaces, to be functional, are going to need to get carved up into co-working spaces. Then people are going to start doing it, right? So I think that co-working is going to see more and more competition as the world changes, and as more and more people work from home, or as companies downsize or whatever. Co-working is to become more and more hip. So that's I see you, Chris. I'll be with you just a second, man. So that's the broad side of it. The downside that you're going to have to deal with if you're developing co-work space is the bank that's going to lend you the construction dollars, because you got to find the right bank. And does that make sense? Do you have a lender lined up that's going to lend you money to build the building?
Yeah, we plan to raise all the money. We actually plan to raise, not do like a regular syndications like you do, but we also plan to like sell some NFTs and do like some like advertising space rentals there, like on the wall. So it's like some alternative like methods.
Yeah. The NFT is a good idea. Like, so you would sell like an NFT for the future for people to use the space, right? And then they could sell the NFT to somebody else. Right.
There's so many use of NFTs. It can be like utilities, like access. It can be just like the first contributors. It can be like so many things with NFTs.
Yeah,
and Miami is all about NFTs.
Would be, you could sell like the first 3 months worth of cash flow, or like you could sell cash flow NFT, where for a certain period of time they get access to profits from the property after, but then that expires, right? They could have usage NFTs. They could have branding NFTs, meaning like you could sell an NFT to have the rights to put branding on the walls of your co-working space, and then somebody could, like, I could buy that, and then I could buy it for 5K, right? And then you've got your developed space, and then I go and leverage it and sell that to McDonald's, and they go and put a McDonald's logo on the walls of your co-working space, right? So those are some NFT ideas. I know you've already thought about it, but the NFT thing's a good idea. I do think that you doing the whole thing free and clear is a really good idea, because the banks are going to get in your way, I think, on being able to build this thing. So if you're able to raise all the $5 million that you said you need, $5 million to buy the land and to build it.
Yeah.
Okay. How many square foot is the building?
It's 10,000 square feet.
10,000 square feet. Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. What are your projected rents? Do you know?
Yeah, that's I think the biggest issue, because first of all, like, this is alternative things what we used to do in single family house, but the second thing is Miami. So to me, I think that's one of the major question about, like, that's the major question. Like, talking to you, what you think would be the best way to kind of get this financial analysis for something that you haven't done before, and it's that can.
You got to do comps. Yeah, the only way that you can project a reasonable return to your investors, or do reasonable projections, is you're going to have to go down there and go and study a bunch of, and maybe do secret shop, where you go and pretend to be a prospective tenant, and you get their revenue income from them. But you're going to have to go shop the market and look at other co-working spaces that are in the market you want to be in. So go around Miami. I'm sure Miami has good neighborhoods, bad neighborhoods. So look in the neighborhood you're in, and see if you can develop some comps. That's the only way to do it. Now, you can project what your expense load is going to look like on this property based on, modeling it out, developing a pro forma. I can't give you much guidance on that because anybody that owns a co-working space there in Miami is likely not going to show you what their expenses are. They'll tell you what their rents are, and you can start figuring how much rents they're making per square foot. And that's, you want to look at this thing in dollars per square foot, if that makes sense, on the rent side. On the expense side, you're going to be paying probably the electric, the water, the heating, the cooling, all that stuff. So, you're going to have to model that out and take a pretty good guess as to what the expense load is going to look like, maybe as a percentage of rents. Is all that making sense?
Yeah. I mean, it does. Yeah, that's like actually what we do. Like we're talking to different co-working spaces, and actually the range is like so high. It's like from one spectrum to another, and it's even harder to like get the right amount. So when you ask the question, what's the potential rent? So it can fluctuate like 200-300% based on like different assumptions.
Yeah, it does, but it also fluctuates based on period of time, right? And it fluctuates based on what it is you're offering to a tenant. Like if you lease somebody a 1,000 square foot unit versus a 100 square foot unit versus renting the 100 square foot unit for a day, right? They're all different revenue streams. But what you can do is if you study the market well enough, you can figure out what an average co-working space in Miami gets in dollars per square foot per month, all in. And that's in monthly rental fees, in unit rental fees, in big and small rents. That it comes down to like, I'll make it up. Probably, I'd be willing to bet you it'll probably come in around like $2 to $3 a square foot per month. I'll bet you that's what it comes in at. But it depends on what you want to put in the space. Are you going to put a podcast studio? Are you going to put a video studio? That kind of thing. Build out. See, Claudia used to work at a let me drop in Claudia's comment here. Sorry, I still got another comment up on the screen. Claudia had a good comment. I used to work at a WeWork, and it's very operationally intensive overall. Need multiple revenue streams. Build out is very expensive. Most WeWork, no-tell investors don't hold any leases or fixed expenses on their balance sheet any longer. They do property management or profit share with the landlord. Interesting. That's another angle. I don't even want to build it. But it sounds like WeWork is just, leasing the space for this and doing a delta yield spread above. I don't like that because you don't own the asset. That's what I'm all about owning the asset long term. Then you're just kind of borrowing somebody else's asset and implementing your business plan into it. But that's another way to look at it. So, last word of advice. I would find yourself someone in Miami that operates an existing co-working space, and see if they want to come in as an operating partner. Because I found this personally. When my co-working space in Trenton has been up and down, and it's been a roller coaster because it's all about operations. It's all about property management, having somebody sitting there at the front desk that can receive a new tenant when they walk in the door and saying, hey, I want to rent office space here. Because that happens. People walk right in there, hey, I want to use that conference room right there for 3 weeks, and I want to pay you a lot of money to use your building. So you need to have somebody that's Johnny on the spot sitting there in the building. Maybe not you, because you want to be more nimble and you want to be bopping around. So all about who your operating partner is.
All right, cool. Yeah, thanks, Matt, for your words of wisdom.
You're welcome, my friend. Thank you. Hey, listen, let's see. How did you come in? You came in off of YouTube. Nibiku, please, Andre, I'm going to send you I'm going to just put a email up here. Nibiku, I think it's a live session at DEROSAGroup.com. I want to send you something for free just for joining me live. We always give away free stuff. DEROSAGroup.com. Join me. Okay. Send an email to that address that I just put out there. Grab that live session at DEROSAGroup.com, and Nibiku, my awesome assistant here, will just confirm with you, and mail you some free stuff. Okay. I want to hook you up with some thank yous. If you want to sign, I can give you a signed copy of my book if you want that. Whatever he can offer you. Thank you, Andre. Keep me in the loop. I know you already hit me up on Instagram, so keep me in the loop on how you make out with that deal. Okay.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Thanks. Nice talking to you. Bye. Chris.
Matt, how's it going?
How's the beer brewing business going?
It's starting to cool off a little bit. We just had fresh hop season, so the hop harvest. It's tradition in Oregon because the Yakima Valley up in Washington is one of the major hop regions in the world. So we get the best fresh hop season, I think, of anywhere in the world, just because there's so many microbreweries here, and it's tradition for brewers to take hops and brew a new beer, a completely unique beer within 24 hours of the hops being harvested. And it's called fresh hop beer. So we have a bottle shop called Uptown Beer Co. And we've got 36 taps. And I think we had 25 fresh hop beers on at one time.
And so you're able to go from fresh hop coming out of the field into a potable beer in 24 hours.
Well, so it goes into the boil. So the way you make beer is you grind up malt and create like a sugary water. So you run water through it and you get all those sugars, and then you put it into a boiling pot and you boil it, and that creates a wort. And then you add hops to the wort, and then you're boiling in the flavors of the hop. And so the fresh hops get put into the boil within 24 hours. And then you wait for that beer to ferment. So you add yeast to it, and then the yeast puts out CO2, which bubbles off out of the fermenter. And then the alcohol, the other thing that the yeast creates, stays in the beer. And then once the yeast has eaten up all the sugars, then you've got a beer that's ready, and you carbonate it and put it into kegs.
Yeah. So about 7 feet that way, I've got a bunch of buckets of grape juice that are going to be turning into wine very soon.
Nice.
Yeah. And I've been measuring them with a hygrometer every day.
Oh yeah.
Looking to see, what my
your original gravity.
What's that?
The original gravity. You put the hydrometer in, and it sits at a certain level, and so you measure your original gravity, and then after the yeast does its work, you put the hydrometer back in, and then you've got your final gravity.
Yeah, and you get your delta, you measure the delta and all that, and so we like dry wine, so I've been letting it sit for a while to try and dissolve as much sugar as possible to try and make it not sweet at all and dry it out real good. And then you let it sit in the barrel for a really long time and pick up the seasoning in that barrel and keep aging and everything. So just making fun beverages like that, it's just a good time. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
And, it's just better when you pour a glass of something for somebody, whether it's beer or wine or whatever it is. Like I got buddies that make whiskey, and that where it's like you just pour a glass of that for somebody, like, yeah, I made this. And it's like you pulled off a magic trick. It's like,
Well, and the people that you're with appreciate it. They're like, wow, a lot of, effort and energy went into this, and it's special. And it just makes spending time with that person even more special.
Yeah. Nibiku, please send a direct message to Janelle and tell her I need to have her on live. I want to hear all about this bathroom she's renovating. She's at the property, even better. And give us a tour video of the property she's in. So what's up, Chris? How's the deal? I know you were property manager. Aside from making a lot of beer, you also have a property management company out there in Oregon, because Chris doesn't like to be bored. And on top of that, you're also looking at I forget what market you put yourself in. Was it Idaho?
So I visited Boise. I've been kind of there's not really much coming out of Boise right now. Market's getting hit pretty tough over there. So rents are going down, values are going down. So
really, what are you seeing it down? What, and from what? Like, what do you attribute that to?
Just it kind of being overheated. I think rents for 2 bedrooms got up to $1,900. And when I was looking at it 4 years ago, rents were $900. So, it's pulling back a little bit.
It went from what? From 1900 down to what?
I like the deals that I've been looking at. I think, you know, a nicely renovated unit will rent out for like 14 or 1500. And the brokers are sending pro forma rents at like 1900, and they're like, well, based off this pro forma cap rate, you know, this is what this deal is worth. And I'm like,
That's the biggest sin a broker can do, is to put a property on the market based on a future pro forma. It's the biggest load of BS, and it happens on smaller properties all the time. I can tell you for a fact it does not happen on bigger properties. You don't see that on 100-unit apartment buildings. And I'm not saying that we're any better because this is what we buy or whatever, but the brokers know better. You know, they know that their buyer. I can only evaluate it on today's performance. You know, I can be willing to take a lower cap rate today in exchange for future returns that I might make, but you cannot give me a 4 cap on future rents, man. You know, I mean, I get that puts more money in your seller's pocket and more commission in your pocket, buddy, but no way does that pencil, you know? Yeah. But so I get it. So Boise didn't work. I got it. Where'd you end up heading from there?
We have a trip to Jacksonville in 16 days. So I'm meeting a buddy who he's been in our property management mastermind. And so trying to put together a little bit of a GP crew down there. Say what?
In what market?
Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You with the other one, you're going all across the country. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, our plan. Say that again.
Both oceans at once, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you looking at specifically down there?
There's a few neighborhoods we're looking at, and so our buddy, who's a property manager as well, down there, has some connections with some smaller multifamily brokers. But I mean, ideally, we want to be buying 50 plus units, and so I need to do some work to get ready for that trip. It's coming up in a couple of weeks, so I need to start reaching out to as many people as possible, and I'm excited for that.
Nice. Okay, cool. So what do you want to talk real quick what I recommend for prepping for going first time into a new market?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Do you PM already who's going to manage what you buy?
Yeah.
You already got that figured out. Like this, your operating partner down there would do that.
Yeah, he's a property manager. Like he's in our property management mastermind. Like he is dialed, really smart operator.
Does he manage big stuff like this already? Like
yes.
50 plus? Okay.
Yep.
Is this, man, there's two different property management companies. There's ones that manage the small,
single family homes. Yep.
And there's those that manage the big stuff. And those are rarely the same company.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, good. So he knows how to manage the big stuff. Is he going to do acquisitions himself, or is he going to, you guys have a broker you're talking to?
So he's got some connections with some multifamily brokers, but he's like, they mostly do smaller stuff like, 10 to 30 unit stuff. So we're going to meet with them. But I mean, honestly, I'm, when it comes to a multifamily broker, like we don't get married. We date a lot.
Oh, you got to date all of them. You got to date them. So the big players in multifamily these days are as follows, and I would reach out to all three of these companies and try and get coffee with them while you're there, right? Okay. Do not just get into bed with his guy because they're either going to produce a deal or they're not, and you're asking them to stretch in space that they're not normally in. In addition, most big brokers, like the ones I'm going to give you, do not co-broke. So you have to come in as their client.
Oh yeah. I've learned that in the Portland market, and it's probably cost me 10 or 15 deals. Like being a real estate broker myself, and I've probably written 50 offers on apartments, and not had a single one go through.
If you're trying to wreck yourself, forget it. They're not going to talk to you.
Yeah, I'm trying to take food off of their table, and I'm just like, I didn't understand
how they look at it.
Yeah.
Instead of win-win, right? But okay, reach out to Cushman and Wakefield. Okay, reach out to Marcus and Millichap. Cushman, Cushman, Cushman and Wakefield.
Yep, I know.
And it's the ampersand, and then they're all like Marcus and Millichap, right? And that they're, I mean, Marcus and Millichap kind of suck because they're boiler room, meaning like the broker that you talk to at M&M is likely not going to. I mean, this is how they are. They're not going to co-broke with the guy sitting next to them. You know, in their same, like they don't co-broke inter-office co-broke.
Really?
Does that make sense? Like, yeah.
No,
I mean, but it makes them extremely aggressive. But they rarely collaborate with each other, and they're like, you know, their own young over there, you know. But they're very aggressive, and they will hunt like crazy to find you a deal because they eat what they kill. So they're good, but know that's what you're dealing with. The CBRE was the other one. CBRE and Cushman and Wakefield compensation packages work like this, where they get a base based on the region that they're in, and then they get a bonus for deals that they close themselves. So they share and they collab, but they're not as aggressive, if that makes sense, because of how they get compensated. But if you talk to one of them, you're talking to all those guys, meaning like one guy at Cushman or gal at Cushman is the same as talking to the person at the desk next to them because they share deals. And same with CB Richard Ellis. But
Marcus and Millichap, you know, you talk with one, you know, but you talk to the guy sitting next to him, and they're just.
He's not going to tell. The one guy is not going to tell you what this guy has for sale.
Yeah.
Isn't that awful? You know,
that's crazy. Yeah.
Okay. Hey, this is great. I didn't know this. This is why we do chats with Matt, because the audience knows more local stuff than I do. Jimmy L. Vietero Shaquin says, Coldwell Banker, I totally butchered your name, and I'm sorry, Jimmy. But the Coldwell Banker Commercial Benchmark is a smaller firm and aggressive in the Northeast Florida market. Now, Jimmy, if you're in Northeast Florida or in Jacksonville, here's my suggestion to you, Chris, before I let you go here.
Yeah.
Reach out to Jimmy. Put a post. I mean, hey man, put a post here on Insiders. This is what this is all about. This is our community for you to use. Put a post and just say, hey, is anybody in Jacksonville that wants to meet up for a drink or for lunch or for coffee or whatever? Just tell them what date you're going there. They're not going to come to your broker meetings with you, but come to network with other people, other investors that are there in that market, right? Jimmy's in South Georgia, so close enough. He'll drive for you. Jimmy seems like good people. So he'll drive for you, right?
That, I mean, honestly, the reason why I jumped on is I just joined Michael Blanc's Dealmaker Mastermind, and I was interested in hearing about, you know, how would you leverage a group like that? And obviously, you know, when you're going to visit a market, that makes total sense. So
I hope it works out for you. I know that his coaching program is good, and he's really good at helping people get to the finish line in the first deal. You know, it's heavily priced, so make sure you use the network for as much as you can, because he gets a lot for that mastermind. So,
it's $100 a month. Like,
oh, you're not okay. I thought you were talking about the private coaching thing.
Not the private coaching quite yet.
Okay. He's got the $30,000 thing too. Okay.
Yeah.
Then if it's $100 a month and you get a network, then leverage it, man. Here's what I suggest. Do a meetup. Like, go on to meetup.com and say, hey, I'm coming to this market and I'm a new investor. We're going to talk about multifamily investing in Jacksonville.
Ooh.
Yeah. With a new brand. Go to meetup. Yeah. And then
sounds amazing.
Find a local bar, right?
Yeah.
And reserve their room and have a free meetup. Because then what you get is people come in that market that want to come and hang out and talk multifamily. They're all doing it with you, right? You know, and then you're just like bringing it in, and you've got a real conversation you can have, man. You're a business owner, you're a property manager. You're not just somebody that you know is walking in off the street. You know what you're talking about, and they're going to value that, I think, and they're going to want to help you. So do a meetup, put it on. I give you my permission. Put it on Insiders. You know, put the link to the meetup with some details of what you're going to do on Insiders, and those that are on Insiders, including my new friend Jimmy here, we'll come down and meet you.
That sounds awesome.
I love I'm just totally obligating Jimmy to things, but let's see if he does it or not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jump, man. My friend Janelle's here.
Okay. Well, did you get the T-shirt I sent you?
Not yet.
Okay, it's in the mail.
You go to my office?
Yeah.
I haven't been there in like a week or two, so if it's there, I'll go check it. But I will gratefully, once I get it, I'll wear it for one of these live sessions just for a shout out for you.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
Good stuff, man. Can't wait to hear.
I finished your book. Got it for free in the Bigger Pockets thing, so I finished that.
Cool, man.
Last week, and tons of nuggets in there. Like, if I can give a 5-star review for it, it's absolutely a phenomenal book. And I was actually, talking with one of my brokers who, does smaller stuff, and raising private capital for small deals makes just as much sense as big deals. And
people think you only do it on $50 million apartment complexes, which is not true, right? I started out doing it for $50K at a clip for a little small deal, and it's actually way more applicable than people think.
Oh my gosh!
And big stuff too. It doesn't matter how big the deal is. The deal size is immaterial to whether or not you can use the principles. So please do leave it a review on Amazon if you don't mind.
I will. I'll throw it on there.
Cool. Appreciate you, man. All right. Yeah, see ya. Thank you. Off to Janelle. I can't see you on the screen, Janelle, but I'm gonna roll the dice and add you in. You dropped. Unacceptable. You'll be back. You've fallen in and out a few times. I don't know if you're having if you're there she is. Okay. Hey Janelle, what's happening?
Hey there, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Good. You got a bathroom kicking your butt. Tell me about it.
I wish I was at the property right now. I actually called and it's a nightmare. So
you can go there next Friday at noon. I'm every Friday here, so I'd love to do like a screenshot. Like, show me what's that? Like, show me that valve right there, right? Because I've done this before. Just tell me about it, and I'll see if I can give you some ideas.
So we were almost done with the project. It's a burr, and it's a single family. We're going to do midterm rentals. It's near St. Petersburg, Florida. Just moved here from Portland, Oregon, by the way, Chris. Love the
temperature. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. If you're still here, Chris, I've got my Claim 52 hat on today. Yeah. Super into beer and wine.
That's so incredible. I wish I had known I could have put you three together. I could have done it.
I actually came from the house. I owned a tap room before I sold it to invest in real estate, and I needed to find some sunshine. So that's why we're in Florida, but small world.
Chris
anyway,
is probably gonna get hooked to Florida, and he's gonna sell all his Portland stuff and come join you.
Yeah, there's so many reasons other than weather, but
well, watch on Insiders for when he puts his meetup out there, and you can come say hi.
Oh, I already wrote it down. I'm going to a multifamily event next weekend, and I'm going to tell all those people because it's in Orlando, so we're all meeting. So I hope he does it soon. I'm going to tell all those people that we'll definitely go to Jacksonville.
We're making deals happen. Maybe I'll get on the plane. You never know, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. St. Petersburg, Florida. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
We got a burr deal. Almost done with this bathroom. I feel like I can tell where this is going.
Oh my gosh! So we bought it from a wholesaler. So it kind of started when the roofer was going to get a permit, but it was not under our name yet. It was still under the wholesaler's name, even though it was 2 hours. We closed on the same day. So they went through all of this work. We were already working on the inside, They told us we needed an engineer and all this stuff, but down here you can do the work, and as long as it's done by a contractor, you can get permitted after. So that was our plan, except for the roofer was like, no, we need to get it permitted. We're just not comfortable with that. We're going to go through and make sure that you sign all your paperwork. We'll get it in your name, which caused a red flag with the county. So they came out and put a stop work order on us this week in the middle of, we were almost done. Everything was great except this bathroom. We were putting a washer and dryer in the utility room next to it, and the drain line wasn't big enough. So they had to tear out the entire bathroom. The pipe is laying in the hallway as the inspector walks in, and it's an old rotten cast iron nightmare. So now we have a stop work order, and the bathroom, I don't even know what it is. And then we have a fence being built, and he's kind of our resident handyman. He calls, and there's the reclaimed water at the street is just geyser, the whole street's filled with water. And I call my contractor. I was like, have you been there? He's like, no, we haven't been there since the stop work order. I'm like, well, there's water everywhere. So my GC is handling it, or I called him my pseudo GC. He likes it.
Yeah.
Stroke his
Is the
ego.
water in the house too, or just in the street?
No, just at the street.
Okay,
It's
good.
all the way at the street. And there's a lot of reclaimed water usage down here. So it's somehow a long time ago, but with all these guys coming and going, someone drove over the pipe and broke something in the ground. So city came out and fixed it. But aside from us not being able to work, the bathroom is really like, we were so close to the finish line, and now so I don't know how long we're going to be
reclaimed water. What is reclaimed water?
Yeah,
mean?
so I don't actually know how it works, because there's so many things in Florida that we're not used to from the Pacific Northwest. So I don't know exactly how it works, but for $9.99 a month, you get 27,000 gallons of water. So you have it's just like piped through so our sprinklers down here are tied to our reclaimed water. We don't have it in the other house or other rentals, but in this area, they have it. So
there is a second, there is potable water that you can drink and cook with, and there's reclaimed water in a second pipe that runs to your house, a second plumbing line.
Yes, and actually we had a filter on that for some reason. The city, when they, you have to apply to use it now that I'm a new owner. And I was like, why would they filter the reclaimed water unless they're trying to use it, the previous homeowner? But I was like, we don't need that. So we took out the filter because it was leaking and all this stuff. But somehow and no one wants to claim it. Nobody wants to say they did it, but the city fixed it for free and said, okay, if anything happens in the future, that's on you. But they at least shut it off.
I've seen reclaimed water operations in small multifamily and everything like that, even like rainwater harvesting and all that kind of stuff. And it makes sense. If you don't have to drink,
absolutely.
You drink and cook with it. You can flush the toilet with it. You can, water your grass with it, whatever. Who cares where it went,
Absolutely.
where it's been. It doesn't have to be as clean as stuff you drink.
Especially if it's your sprinkler, or, we have so much, I haven't experienced it yet. It's still raining a little bit, but compared to 9 months of rain in Portland, we have 9 months of, sun and drought here. So it's nice to have that throughout the winter to water your lawn and stuff. So I haven't been back. I'm curious to see. I don't know what to expect, but
I don't know if you want to know. I hope it doesn't migrate into the house. At some point, if it's gotten to the house and you got water damage in the house, and you end up talking about an insurance claim. But okay. Did the town fine you? Did they stop work to you?
No, they're so nice. They're so nice. They're like first name basis. The inspector calls. He's like, no big deal, but I just want you to know, you need to hire a contractor. He didn't go in the house. Thankfully, I'm guessing, because he's like, you need to hire a contractor. I'm like, if you've been in the house, you could tell that we have one. He's like, no big deal, just submit it and we'll take care of it. We're a small town, even though it's not small. He's like, we like to keep everybody on a first name basis, and so nice, so nice guy. Thankfully, because they really could have. So hopefully it just worked.
Yeah. Okay. So he's making you go and get a license, somebody with a license,
which we have.
Yeah, and you already got that lined up.
Yeah, he's already been the one working on it. We just didn't apply for permits. We weren't going to wait until after the fact. Ask more for forgiveness.
Why are you still stopped work, or are you back open again?
Stop work until it gets approved. So they applied yesterday, and I'm sure it's going to take them until next week to.
Yeah. That's not.
Yeah, it won't take long.
In some areas, like in Jersey, where where I used to do a lot of work, they would intentionally take all 30 days that they have. They'd call you on day 31 to tell you your permits are ready, or even better, day 31, hey, I have some questions about your application. Here's our exceptions and our whatever. It's like they would drag you out 60 days. So if they open the doors back up next week, it's not too bad. They're not jacking you too bad. It's more of just a slap on the wrist. You know?
Yep. Yeah. We need to get this fixed, because we're also looking for to house hack a fourplex. We're looking for a small multi, because we have a VA loan that we can use. So
are you on VA on this one?
No, we did we're doing DSCR on this one, but we want to use, we want to get the max, we have like 1.2 to spend on a fourplex. So we want it, instead of just buying a single family for, $300,000, we want to be able to get a fourplex and have the round, the rent.
Why not? How do you like the DSCR? I've heard mixed reviews in the DSCR loan product. Are you happy with it?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, we're actually going to turn this other rental, because I sold my restaurant. not bankable right now. So we're going to quit claim this one into my LLC and do a DSCR on this one too.
Is the point of the DSCR, again, we do mostly multifamily stuff, but I hear more and more people that are doing like the singles and small multis and stuff like that are using DSCR. Is the point of it that it is it's non-recourse or non-guarantee, like you don't have to do personal guarantees?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay.
So it's based on your rental. So this one will actually they're going to count it as short-term rental. So they use AirDNA and pull it up. Or if they can do it under long-term and it works, then great. That's easier for underwriting. But
you can also Is it like a no-doc loan? Like, are you having to produce tax returns and are you doing stated income or proven income?
None of that. And my LLC, this one, because I'm new to Florida, is only a month old. They're giving me loans.
No, that's not a big deal though. But it's personally guaranteed though, right?
No, you don't have to give them anything. It's just based on the rent. As long as the rent will cover it, it doesn't go on your credit report. It doesn't count against you. You can get as many as you want. That's why we're trying to stock up on them, because I feel like they're not going to be there forever. Like, it's a pretty good deal for investors.
I get a age now, and I was around in 2006, 2007. Man, this sounds like a lot of that no doc, no income, no doc, no problem kind of thing. Like. What kind of LTV can you get on these things?
75 is the norm. Like, the one I have.
Full appraisal? Is it a desktop appraisal or a full appraisal? What's the
I think it's got to be full, because one of the guys this morning that I talked to actually asked me, do you have an appraiser that you like? Because if he works for an AMC company, I can suggest that company, and then when it comes in, your appraisal can jump on it, your appraiser, and say, I got that one. I hadn't had anybody like, that was a little bit like, let me do more research, because I was surprised to hear that. I haven't worked with this company before, but there is another guy, Brian Valdivia, who's all over the Bigger Pockets. People love him. So shout out to Brian. He's a good one at Beltway. This other guy just came across my desk, and I was like, well, let's vet him. And he's no seasoning, 75%. And then they're the ones that you do the AirDNA. And then, of course, there's, points and underwriting fees and all that.
I didn't lending you construction on top? Or just
I try to go private money versus hard money when we do these. I don't like them, I don't want to have to inspect each step of the process, and then I pay them and then you pay me. We just usually use our own money and try to make it quick.
Will the DSCR loan people do construction on top, or are they just acquisition?
That's a good question. I think I'm not sure. I've only used them for acquisition.
I don't know. Again, I'm just curious about it, because a lot of people are starting to come to me saying, hey man, should I do DSCR loans, and can I use a DSCR loan to buy a midsize or a large multifamily? And it just seems to be like the darling these days that everybody's kind of going after is these DSCR loan products. And so I feel like I should learn more about them, not because I want to do them, but because I want to have an opinion.
Talk to David Green. Yeah. David Green's the king of them.
Is he? He does.
Yeah, we actually talked to his company, the One Mortgage. We talked to them earlier this week too. But he loves them. Yeah, he's all over them.
Okay, I believe somebody rehab as well. My man Chad here is jumping in. All right, you just lost video. Did you lose signal? Give you a second. Oh, there goes Chanel. All right, if you log back in, I'll let you back in. Interesting stuff. Chad was just saying, remember the stated product loans. Here's Chanel back. Okay, let me log you back in.
Sorry about that.
There you go. All good. Well,
can you hear me?
Thanks for your experience with the DSCR loan product. I'm just more curious about it than anything. God bless. There she goes again. All right, I was gonna wrap it up with her anyway, and then we can I get a log back in. Hey. You're muted. There you go. I got you now. Can you? No, I can't hear you. Okay. Here's the deal. We're getting towards the top of the hour, so probably should jump anyway. But Janelle, what I want you to do, I'll just let you go. Nibiku, please find Janelle and reach out to her and get her mailing address so we can send her some free fun stuff, please. Okay. Interesting conversation today. I think we've one last time, Joe. I'm going to try you one last time. Okay. We good now? You good? No. It's all good. Nibiku, please reach out to Janelle real quick and see if you can get her mailing address so we can send her a thank you pack for coming on live with me today. But interesting conversations with our people. Interesting stuff. I learned a little bit about DSCR loans. I'm curious to learn more because I want to offer you guys some thoughts on those, and just maybe you guys could support each other, kind of help us get to the promised land on what those loans are all about. Sounds like my man Chris Shepard is going to be heading down to Jacksonville. So for those of you guys that are in Jacksonville, make sure you go to his meetup that he'll be posting in DEROSA Insiders. Hopefully he does that. And hopefully Janelle can make it. And my friend Jimmy here can make it too. Anybody else here that's in the Jacksonville area can head down. In that, Janelle, if you're still watching, I hope you're still watching. Nibiku posted in Facebook, on the DEROSA Facebook page, to please send us your information so we can send you a thank you pack. And I appreciate you hopping in, and come see me next week to see how that bathroom went. Okay, Chris is going to post his meetup next week. Those of you guys that want to head out to Jacksonville for Chris's event, please register there, and look forward to hearing how that goes. I'd love to see some selfies and some pics from the meetup when it happens here on Insiders too. Thanks, guys. If you guys are not a part of our Insiders community, if you guys are watching us on LinkedIn and YouTube, thank you. But take a minute and join DEROSA Insiders, which is our private Facebook group where we will be posting stuff like Chris's meetup. Maybe Janelle, I can talk her into posting some pictures of her bathroom that's kicking her butt. But it sounds like she's around in the corner already, so I'm excited to hear how that goes. Good stuff today. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you, and Andre, we're looking forward to hearing how your co-working space ends up down there in Miami. Co-working is the future. It's what we're going to see more and more of, I think, in office space in this country. So I think you're on the bubble there, buddy, and I think that's going to go well if you can make it happen. So thanks, guys. I appreciate you. I will see you guys next week. As always, I appreciate you joining me here for Chats with Matt. Have a great day.